who deserved what happened to them, but you still felt bad. Might be a little late, but here it goes. A couple of years ago I had a soccer ball that a kid stole from me. He said it was his and he found it. Well, cut to a couple of weeks later, I went to the park and that kid was there, playing with my ball. Then, some homeless-looking person walked to where the kid had his stuff placed and stole his bag. I saw everything that happened. I still feel bad for not doing anything, but to be fair, he did not return my ball after I asked many times. Karma's AB*TCH David. Edit. Forgot to mention he had his wallet and phone in the bag. Well, he obviously believes stealing is alright, so meh. I missed the part where that's my problem move right there. Back a long time ago, growing up in Eastern Europe, before the Cold War was ended, I had a friend who kept getting into trouble, vandalism, stealing from stores, drugs and more. He had been arrested 2 times, but kept thinking he can get away with it. This was back when the farm pit punishment was still used for some crimes, basically where you're locked in a pit on a farm for a day or 2, and the dung of the animals on the farm is shoveled in as well. I warned him that he better stop because he's sure to get the farm pit if he's caught again. He seemed unconcerned and laughed it off, and said something like, "So what? It's just a day or 2. I can deal with a bad smell." I said, "Are you kidding me? Have you even been to a pig farm before? You do not want to go to the pit." But he was undistressed. Sure enough, he was caught shoplifting a few months later and spent half a day in the pit, and later told me how much he puked and how sick he felt. I warned you, buddy. Oh my god. He knew the farm pit would be the punishment and he still did it again? Was he scared after he got sentenced to it? Or was he still nonchalant? He didn't seem too scared at his sentence. He later told me it was only when he arrived at the farm with the officers and saw and smelled how big these farms are, that he knew he was fucked. He later confessed he even begged and pleaded with the officers when they were putting him down, saying he learned his lesson. But of course it was pointless. He stopped committing crimes though. Weird how pig shit is what changed his ways. When I was 19, this guy asked me on a date. I said sure. He picked me up and he said that he needed to make a stop. First we go into his house and a bunch of guys are literally weighing and bagging up weed and coke in the living room. Monsieur, I was shocked. Apparently my date was a dealer. Unbeknownst to me, I was scared, so I just sat there quietly. He ends up saying that we should just have dinner there. So we got into his furnished basement where he had a bar and gives me a hard lemonade. As the time passes, I say I want to leave, and he forced himself on me and held me down after I kept saying no. He tried to take my shorts off. I literally sprinted out of his house and ran a few blocks, knocked on a stranger's door, and asked to use their phone to call my mom to come get me. 2 years ago, I read online that he just got a job in waste management. He was hanging off the back of the garbage truck when the driver reversed it into a metal telephone pole and crushed. Hi monsieur, sad he went that way. But I couldn't help but say, karma is a bitch. I feel more sorry for the driver of the truck. Guess his life was a waste. My sister's ex is a bastard. He always said she was too fat and there were prettier girls than her. He also took her to Paris. When my parents disagreed, we found out later that she didn't even have a passport with her. He threatened to throw fireworks at our house if my sister wasn't allowed to come to a party. She was 17 at the time, so my parents were still in charge. The worst thing he did was get drunk behind the wheel. When my sister said something about it, she was given the choice. Either walk 20 to 30 miles, or get in the car with hi monsieur. He had an accident after getting drunk behind the wheel and he is now in a coma. There is a good chance that he will not survive. I am very sorry for his family, but I am a little happy that my sister was not in that car. A little happy? It's totally okay to be very happy she was not in that car. Greater than the worst thing he did was get drunk behind the wheel. When my sister said something about it, she was given the choice. Either walk 20 to 30 miles, or get in the car with Hi Monsieur. Had this happen to me at like 2 a.m. in the morning. Parents out of town. Called the cops and they gave me a ride home. Thank God. Better safe than sorry. I was in elementary school kicking a ball back and forth with a couple of buddies, when the school bully comes over. At this time he is damn near the size of a teenager and I'm a super scrawny stick. He boots our ball all the way across the playground. My buddies accept the fate, but it causes me to snap. I call him a bitch. A bold move for quite little me. He doesn't take that well. Grabs me, turns me upside down and slams me on my head. I pop right back up and get in his face. We repeat this several times until a teacher finally sees this and breaks it up. Fast forward to our senior year of high school. He is a real big dude at this point. Still a shithead. He's talking shit to a Samoan kid. We have a school. Very rural place of mostly backwoods white kids. Starts getting physical with Hi Monsieur. Samoan kid is probably 5 feet 6 inches at best. But Samoans don't have a reputation for being badasses for nothing. He grabs this giant, turns him upside down, and pile drives him into the tile floor. Bully goes completely out. Ambulance had to be called, and he gets stretchered out. We didn't see him again for several weeks. No one says shit to Samoan kid because he was a super chill kid and everyone, including the adults, knew how awful the bully was. Saw the bully a few years later and the incident seemed to knock the asshole attitude out of Hi Monsieur. He was very cordial. I feel guilty about how much glee I get thinking about this poor kid, who most likely had a bad home life, getting dropped on his head so hard he had to spend time in the hospital. He could have been seriously hurt. We've got an awesome Samoan community near where I live. I swear they could all be football linebackers. Or bears. Nice dudes though. Jeffrey Epstein deserved to be murdered. But I felt bad because he didn't get to snitch on all the other pedophiles in his human trafficking operation. I don't feel bad for his death, but I was hoping he had one of those cliché, when I die, release the dirt to the press deals set up. The guy had tens of thousands of blackmail tapes in his houses. Somebody has those and I wish they'd be leaked. Throughout ages 5 to 14, I had a best friend who slowly evolved into a spoiled, entitled bully. Whenever her mom told her no in the last years we were friends, she would say stuff like, "I hope my mom gets cancer, I hate her so much." One day her mother just died. Turns out she had cancer. I still think about her sometimes. Edit. Jesus Christ. I'm not saying the mother deserved to die, that's fucked up. It's more of a, well, you got what you loudly wished for multiple times. I felt very bad for her. She didn't deserve to lose her mom and her mom didn't deserve to die. Her mom died a couple years after I cut contact with her. Not when she was that young. Most of the holes in the AskReddit subreddit. I have this really bad problem where no matter how massive an asshole someone is in their story, I can still sort of see things from their point of view and empathize with their situation. I wouldn't classify empathy as a really bad problem, monsieur. If anything, more people should have more of it. I worked as a designer in a marketing firm, monsieur. There was a social media coordinator. While a fantastic worker, wasn't a team player and would coerce designers to focus on all his clients. It escalated to the point he'd get angry at us if we don't meet his self-imposed deadlines. He'd overpromise his clients about projects, which put unnecessary pressure onto our team, monsieur. I found out that he lived alone in a bad neighborhood, was barely able to pay rent, and only made $12 an hour. I felt bad, so I put up with it. One day, he started piling projects only onto me, because he didn't trust the other designers. The workload got so insane that I snapped and told my boss about all the things this employee did. Apparently he was already on thin ice due to numerous private complaints. I felt like a total ass that my complaint was what broke the camel's back. However, He got fired the next day for not joining a white elephant exchange and preferring to focus on his work more. He also vocally complained about not wanting to spend $30 on something stupid. There is a happy ending, though. One client loved his work so much that they stopped our services and hired him as their dedicated social media manager. So that worked out for Hi Monsieur. On a side note, I also got promoted for good leadership, LMAO. I wonder how well it worked once he no longer has other people to pass that work on to. Honestly, it might have turned out better for everyone involved. He sounds like he busts his ass and works hard. But like Ops stated, can't work as a team. Monsieur, that's the kind of person that might actually do well working alone. This is gonna sound stupid, but I was once married to a man in an online game. He was great. He was nice, smart, popular, and had a really level-headed temperament that didn't allow him to get angry easily. This is important because there was a lot of player killing in the game, guild enemies, and just overall drama. We got along really well and realized we were both laid-back people, but also similarly competitive in-game. So, we got married in the game. This does provide benefits in-game, and he was even nice enough to pay for it. I really enjoyed playing with him as he was a very dependable guy and also had the skill level to match. There came a time when we hung out less and spoke less often. I can't remember why, but we were both still active in-game, and one day I logged on and he had divorced me. It feels silly to say, but it hurt my feelings a lot and I felt kind of betrayed, abandoned. He hadn't even given me a heads up. He immediately PM'd me to say sorry. Apparently he had been hanging out with another girl with fox ears and they had been flirting with each other unbeknownst to me. Shortly after, him and Fox Ears got married and everyone wished them well because he was still a likable, popular guy. I was really upset, but it wasn't like we were a couple in real life. I wasn't attracted to him at all. So, whatever. Lost my best friend in game. But life goes on. Sometime later, Fox Ears divorced him out of the blue. It was the same story of what just happened to me, except this time it happened to Hi Monsieur. She had been talking to another player. They exchanged photos, and she found him to be more visually appealing than my ex-husband. So she left him and remarried the new guy quickly, and my ex felt like shit after that happened to him. I thought that he 100% deserved it because that's exactly copy and paste what he did to me. Perhaps he realized this, because he then sent me a long apology message with a small hope of remarrying me in-game. I promptly rejected it since I was young and still feeling hurt over his actions. But now looking back, I do feel bad for him because I think he's a great guy and maybe that's just a young mistake. But I expected more integrity out of my friends. I dunno. I told you it was gonna sound stupid, lol. What game was that, LMAO? Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.